I didn't set out to become gentler with myself. Life made the decision for me. A personal reckoning required that I get radical about taking care of my body, my spirit, my pace. I'm so not perfect. Far from it, but instead, I'm focused. There were moments when I had no choice but to stop reaching for the next thing and tend to what was already there. And in that narrowing, something happened. I began to notice the small mercies. Sunlight stretched across my kitchen floor in the late morning, the sway of trees in my backyard, unhurried and unconcerned with deadlines, the quiet of the house, broken only by the soft hum of the heating unit doing precisely what it was designed to do. The small puffs of air escaping my lips when I stepped onto the front porch in the wee hours of the morning, coffee in hand, before the day asks anything of me. This isn't about chasing a quieter life for the sake of aesthetics. I'm not aiming for perfect. I'm trying to understand how to slow down, and that has made all the difference. Lately, I've been sitting with the book of Habakkuk, not the quotes the world carves out for clicks and likes, not the principles that encourage us to write goals, and that has become the lesson of the book, the text, the actual text and what it says. Habakkuk goes to God again and again, unsettled and honest, asking why evil is allowed to flourish and injustice seems unchecked. He petitions, he questions, he waits. And when God finally responds, it's a declaration of sovereignty. I am still in control. That realization has been anchoring for me. Focusing on sunlight, breath, and quiet isn't escapism. It's an act of faith. It requires a deep-seated trust that God is still God, even when the world feels loud, broken, and impatient for outcomes. Because faith without works is dead. There are things I can do. I can vote. I can choose where I spend my money. I can create boundaries. What a privilege that is. I can decide what I consume, what I amplify, and what I refuse to carry. And I can create. I told a friend a few weeks ago that the little cloud over my head is finally moving away, and I feel like I can write again. I can put beauty into the world when it feels scarce. I can tell the truth with care. I can move at a pace that honors my limits without apologizing for them. Slowing down hasn't made me passive. It's made me present. And presence, I'm learning, is its own quiet form of resistance and reverence. In the book of Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter, the 17th and the 18th verse, it says, "Though the fig trees does not bud, and there are no grapes on the vines, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will be joyful in God, my Savior." There is something quietly defiant about choosing rejoicing when outcomes are unresolved. Habakkuk does not deny the barrenness. He names it plainly. No fruit, no harvest, no immediate evidence that things are turning around, and still rejoicing. Not because circumstances improved, but because trust deepened. That posture feels especially necessary now. We live in a world that demands immediacy, answers, fixes, results, metrics. Even our faith is reduced to productivity. What did you learn? What did you apply? What changed? Habakkuk offers something else entirely. A faith that waits without collapsing, that observes without despairing, that acts where it can and releases what it cannot carry. Slowing down has taught me that attentiveness is not passivity. To notice sunlight, breath, and stillness is to practice staying. To refuse numbness, to bear witness to goodness, even when it feels outnumbered. I'm learning to hold two truths at once. The world is in desperate need of justice, repair, and courage. And God is still sovereign. To parrot my good friend, it's not either or, it's both and. Holding both keeps me from burning out on urgency or hardening into cynicism. It reminds me that my responsibility is to be faithful with what is mine to tend. So I will keep choosing care of my body, my spirit, my time as stewardship. I will keep creating beauty because it testifies that despair does not get the final word. This is the work I am called to now, to move deliberately, to live awake, and to trust that even when the fig tree does not bloom, God is still at work, often beyond my line of sight.